Hi everyone. I have no idea if I am live. I have no idea what the connectivity is like. This is an absolute premiere and I have no idea what it's going to look like by the end of the tour. I'm not even sure where we're going to finish tonight. At least this tour, because it's going to be another one. So we'll see. If there's anyone here, please let me know on the chat that I'm live, because it looks like there's no other option for me to check it. However, maybe there is. Okay, let's try. Who knows? I specifically, intentionally not showing you where I am. I want to keep the suspense. But I'll drop you a hint when we begin. Hi Cindy, good to see you, dear. I didn't expect you to join. In fact, I thought most of you would be sleeping, because I know this is not exactly the most convenient time, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here, and we can get down to the tour shortly. So as I said, I specifically, well, it was meant to be from the very beginning a pop-up. Hi Ronnie. A pop-up live stream from Jerusalem, and it's a pop-up tour. It's a surprise tour. There are going to be two pop-up live streams, and one of them is not in the old city, and the other one is in the old city. Hi Patakot. I know it was a very short notice tour, but that's what I've been telling for about a month, that if I schedule a tour in Jerusalem, it definitely would be a short notice pop-up thing. And here it is, so I stick to my promises. Obviously the recording will be available. It's immediately available upon, I guess it is available as basically. So I find it absolutely amazing and convenient. So this tour is going to run for 1 hour. Hi Roger, good to see you, good to have you with us. Welcome on board and shalom. And then after 1 hour break, there's going to be the second tour. So the first tour, I'm starting outside of the old city. Hey, Sharon, hi dear, shalom, shalom dear. And the next tour is going to be in the old city. With regards to the old city, you kind of have the idea, because of the connectivity issues, it's mostly going to be the Jewish quarter, but I'll make sure we see something other than that, because I want to show you the diversity of Jerusalem, the old city. So I hope I'll be able to show you something else. And this tour we are doing in the 19th century area of Jerusalem. We have done some tours on the 19th century areas, but we have never done a tour here. So it's time for me to drop you a hint. YMCA, YMCA. Look at that. I don't want to film people. I specifically don't want to film people, especially when there are children with them. So I will kind of be standing like this for now, and then I'll switch the camera. So this is a very special tour, because we are starting with the highlights of the 19th century and also early 20th century Jerusalem, so to speak. This is both, I would say, West Jerusalem. Yes. Yeah, exactly. I try to warn you inform you in advance. The moment I knew it would happen, I let everyone know. So, and it was just yesterday. Obviously, it doesn't mean that I started preparing for the tour just yesterday. I always had this idea, so I thought if this is Jerusalem, I would show you this and that. So we are in the West Jerusalem, the area that started developing starting from the 19th century, but obviously some of the architecture we're going to see today, because local time is 4 p.m. only, so today is from the early 20th century. So it's time to switch the camera. Hi Natasha, good to have you with us. You're right on, just on time. So as I said, I don't want to be filming children, and there are a lot of children now here. So I will show you the tower and the famous building. We are focusing on architecture, we are focusing on history, and this is the famous YMCA building in Jerusalem, West Jerusalem. And this is one of the highlights of the city for sure. And the amazing thing is that I have been allowed to film a little bit of the interiors, a little bit inside in the lobby. Yay, amazing. You stayed in King David Hotel. I will show this one too. It's very close. And this is the back facade. It's not, well, it's kind of the back side of the building, so it's not that interesting. So I would rather focus on the interior of the lobby. And now I should somehow automatically connect to the Wi-Fi, because in the lobby the connectivity is not that amazing, but it should be fine. Just let me know. So, wow. Again, I'm so grateful to the management of the hotel to let me film here. Just see this. We will speak about the concept. We will speak about the ideas behind such an amazing place. So now I can film here because there are no people here. Look, so the YMCA building was finished in 1930s. This is the mandate period when the British, well, the two states, right, so the Jewish state and the Arab state, they didn't succeed, unfortunately. But these vibes of finding a way for dialogue, of finding the solution so both peoples would be happy and live in harmony, it was there, it was in the air. Everybody wants peace. Nobody wants to live in war, right? And as you know, my tours are not about war and politics and hate. So that's exactly why I'm starting the tour here, because in this building, YMCA organization, so right, the Christian organization developed in the 19th century as one of the biggest charity organizations to support and help facilitate the development of the young people. So they opened a wide network of different facilities, right? And specifically with regards to the Holy Land, there would be these two important men. So it's Dr. Archibald Clinton Harty, right? So he was the Secretary General of YMCA, and he fell in love with Jerusalem when he visited in the 1880s. He was in the Mount of Olives and he fell in love with land, and he knew it would be his goal in life to open the YMCA headquarters here. And he had a friend, James Jarvie, who was a philanthropist, who donated $1 million for the opening of, and that's him, by the way, for the opening of this center. It's not just a hotel. There is a hotel here. It's called Three Arches. But apart from that, it's the place that has gazillions of different activities for families of all religions. So this is the center of tolerance, friendship, and coexistence. Look at this amazing interior, and you can even see the narrative. You can definitely easily say that this is the place that embraces the complexity of the Holy Land. Look at this architecture. And we're not going to spend here too much time, but we're going to focus on some really important things. Well, for example, take a look at these, the ceiling and the dome. It looks like a dome of a church, especially because you see those stars that look like, well, like a Holy Spirit, right? So Holy Spirit dove, very often they're depicted in such a way that look like kind of stars, but they're not exactly stars. This is the clearly Christian symbol, right? And then From this very European and Christian dome, you see a beautiful lamp, very typical for the Middle East, right? Then look at this. Look at this archways, look at this architecture here. This is the new building, but it definitely mimics the Crusader period architecture with this pointed arches. Isn't it lovely? I hope the chat is working. I hope you can hear me and everything is fine. Because otherwise, otherwise it would be quite problematic. So let me know in the chat if you're here, if I am here most importantly. Oh, great. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely in awe here. And again, normally you actually need to pay in order to film in YMCA. But so I've talked to the management, and since I'm a tour guide, Yes, sorry. I've been allowed to film here for a little while, and there is so much more I want to show. So what I need to do, at some point I will have to drop out, turn off the Wi-Fi, because otherwise it will start catching Wi-Fi from everywhere else and the signal will be going back and forth. So we don't want that. Hi Barbara, good to see you. And so I will disappear, but I will rejoin just very quickly, okay? Let's move on. There is something here very special waiting for us even at the entrance on the floor. Absolute privilege to see inside YMCA. You're very, very right. And look at what we have. Many of my seasoned viewers can recognize the map. This is the Madaba map, the map of the Holy Christian sites, and this is specifically Jerusalem. Byzantine period, and this is the map that tells us so much about Jerusalem at that period, and of course specifically the Holy Sepulchre Church and the main Roman road called Cardo, right, and the Sepulchre Church. So it's a little bit noisy because, as I said, this is also the activity club. Now let's talk a little bit about the arches, right? We spoke about the hotel, so the hotel name is the Three Arches. Give me a second, I will turn off the Wi-Fi and rejoin. Okay, I should be back by now. I had to drop because just to ensure a proper signal inside the hotel, I needed to use the Wi-Fi. So Three Arches, right? The hotel is called Three Arches. Why is it so? In fact, there is a lot of symbolism here in numbers, in architecture, in designs. So the Three Arches, in fact, symbolize the three religions. So this is the place where the three religions that were born in this land, well, they symbolize here because the three religions were born here. Then there are also 12 columns. So if you go and count, you will find 12 columns on the facade, which represent both 12 tribes of Israel and also the 12 apostles. Let's see a bit more here. Look at this. This building is enormous, absolutely enormous. You can see it from everywhere around Jerusalem. And needless to say, they have also the very nice observation deck on top. So maybe some other time I take you there. And in order for the whole building to fit in the frame of my phone, I feel so tiny. We need to go down, we need to take steps down and step really, really, really back. I know. So let's see it from here. And still, this is not enough. I knew it would be like this. I knew. Okay, So what are we looking at here? The very top, the dome, looks very much like both a dome of a church, a dome of a mosque, and even a dome of a synagogue, such as the Horva synagogue in the Jewish quarter in Jerusalem, which I will definitely show you tonight in the next tour, which is to take place in an hour and a half from now, approximately. Over here, we see an interesting creature, some sort of a winged lion or griffin or something like that. So ever since the medieval times, like the griffins, they are the guardians, and this creature is, hi Christine, you've been able to join, amazing. And later on, when there is time, you can catch up on what you missed, just in case, because the recordings are available and I will be keeping them in open access for at least a week, so you have time. And this creature is indeed keeps an eye on Jerusalem. Then you will see a lot of different elements. I'm not sure how much I can show you from a distance, but we can also zoom in a little bit and zoom out, and we see the symmetry. The three domes, again, they symbolize the three religions. Also, there is a temple here that is the temple of the three religions. So the entire place is meant to nourish and encourage love, tolerance, understanding, and peace. And in days like this, that's what we've been needing so much. And needless to say that there is all the inscriptions, just like in Israel, in the entire country, you will find the inscriptions in the three languages, like the street signs. Most advertisements would be in three languages. Sometimes English is missing, but Hebrew and Arabic is always there. So I really like this phrase. Here is a place whose atmosphere is peace, where political and religious jealousies can be forgotten and international unity be fostered and developed. Isn't it amazing? And this quote belongs to Lord Allenby, who was present at the dedication of this place in 1933. Same in Hebrew, same in Arabic, and also take a look at the design. So these are the famous Armenian tiles that decorate quite a lot of buildings in Jerusalem, even the Temple Mount. By the way, Dome of the Rock, Temple Mount, I filmed it for us on today in the morning at 7 a.m. I was already on the Temple Mount filming for you. So we are definitely having a tour of the Temple Mount, and it's going to be a very detailed one. You know, when it's a live stream, obviously have to be economical because, well, conscious of the time, because it just flies by. You know, live tours, they just fly by. Well, but with Zooms, I can go as much as I want in the details, and I'm going to exercise my right to do that because I want to do that. There's so much to talk about, so it is definitely happening a little bit later, but it is happening. It is incredibly sunny, so I'd rather just switch the camera and show you another place, King David Hotel. This must be the hotel you were staying there. And well, my oh my, you were very lucky. This is the hotel. I'm sure many of you have heard of this place, but especially those who have been to Jerusalem and Israel. So this is the place where the official delegations, the presidents of other countries, diplomats, stars, celebrities, this is where they stay. Obviously, there wasn't even the chance, you know, for me to be allowed to be filming from the inside unless I booked a room there, which I cannot afford, like many of us, unfortunately. And King David Hotel is here from approximately the same period, and during the mandate period, so when the hotel, when the Three Arches and the YMCA building was inaugurated. By the way, let me do it like this. I'll try to go slowly, but you have to see it. Okay, I'm as far as possible from the building. Okay, I may go a little bit further. No, honestly, just I have no idea how to make it fit in the frame. No, it doesn't. Anyway, it's not gonna work. At least something. So the King David Hotel, which had been built a little bit earlier, so it part of this hotel was also headquarters of the British forces. I would like to remind you that the British Mandate started with the end of the First World War and the defeat of the Ottomans, who, allied with Germans, had lost. And unfortunately, just next to this gorgeous YMCA hotel, which promotes peace, which promotes tolerance and understanding and all that, these amazing things. By the way, this is the photo from, I would say, around 1930. Well, definitely after it was built. I guess maybe around 1940, something like that. That's what the area looked like. At least from here it fits. But the photo was taken clearly from somewhere, the King David Hotel. Yeah, so King David Hotel was an enterprise established, financed and managed by the Jewish entities, by the Jewish community, whereas YMCA by the Christian community, which means that the Muslim community still hasn't been talked about, and I will. We will see it also. We will see this trinity of the hotel, so to speak, in a way. And unfortunately, next to the YMCA promoting peace, in 1946, a big explosion happened, as a result of which 91 people died. I will not be going into much of the details, but whenever I say King David Hotel, many remember that horrible event. And just to tell you how complex things were, which would add to our understanding of the importance of YMCA. 1940s is already the times when the world, well, 1943, the world found out about the Holocaust that had been taking place in Europe under the Nazis. And the Jewish organizations here, under the Mandate, they tried to bring Holocaust survivors and other Jews who had not yet been captured and taken into camps. They tried to bring them here, because here many had some relatives, and that was the only safe place for them. Outside of, well, throughout Europe, this was this was way safer than staying in Europe. And the Jewish forces, the Jewish communities, wanted to bring these people here, but the Arab community didn't want to see Jews here, and there were a lot of tensions. It was just electrical. It was so electrical that constant clashes eventually led to the confiscation of big archives of one of the Jewish groups. And eventually this Jewish organization, which is seen by some entities, a terrorist organization, unfortunately, that is the word. Unfortunately, so I know there are trees there, but I want to show you what it looked like without the trees yet. So that's what the hotel looked like from the very beginning. It looked big, massive, pompous, and as you can see, it is clad with the same stone as most of the buildings that you will see around us. This is the Jerusalem stone, a special kind of a limestone, malachite we call it, like even malachite, kind of a royal kind of stone. And so let's go to the story. And there was an explosion. In fact, this Jewish group managed to ban explosives, and then they made 3 phone calls informing the British, informing the restaurant and the hotel administration about the future explosion. But nobody evacuated. It had been contested for a while, so the British would claim that that did not happen. Nobody called them. But further on, it was that the phone calls had been made. But for some reason, the British did not evacuate anyone, and that was the result. At the result of that explosion, the entire wing was destroyed. 91 people of the 3 religions died. It was a horrible thing, and that's why eventually, it was probably it must have been the last straw for the British, and they had finished their mandate shortly after that in 1948. So as you can see, this area has seen it all. Well, I wish you could say it's a more peaceful times now. In a way it is, but also it's not. And that's why for me it was absolutely essential to take you to this area to show you that there are a bunch of places that promote peace, that promote understanding, tolerance, education, right? Reason. But, well, it's a little bit different situation at the moment. So where are we? We are now passing by the area that, as I said, well, this is heartbreaking to see, because Hirsch was killed, but he's still there. This is heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. So this area, the West Jerusalem, it started to be developed in the second half of the 19th century, specifically. In the meantime, let us see this Judaica store. It looks all looks very expensive. Some of them look also quite old. I've never been to this store, and I think it's open, but it's actually not even a Judaica store, it's a gallery. It's called a gallery, and I mean, look at these menorahs. Look at this enamel work. Goodness gracious. The cedar plate over there. The hamsas. The boxes for donations, daka, it says here. A lot of things, and you know, menorahs could be of different designs as well. Gorgeous, gorgeous place. The old city of Jerusalem got well, it was just too small. It couldn't fit everyone. And with the arrival of pilgrims and Christian settlers and Jewish settlers and Arab settlers as well, it was just the city was too small and too dirty. Let me cross the street as well. And the very first neighborhoods would be obviously located as close as possible to the old city. People were quite reluctant to move out because of the dangers. But little by little, it happened. It started happening because it was no longer possible to coexist along with all the germs and the dirt. And little by little, so these areas started to be developed. Right now, this is a very upscale neighborhood. There are also a lot of political buildings. There is the Hebrew Union College here, Jewish Institute of Religion, a lot of facilities, and also a lot of hotels, because you are very close to the old city, and every tourist or visitor who comes to Jerusalem and Israel, they want to see the old city. So it kind of makes sense. Look, that's another 5-star hotel. And there is another 5-star hotel over there, which we are going to talk about very soon. By the way, over there, so these roundabouts, we call them kikar. And that kikar, well, roundabout or whatever, let me zoom in. I know there are cars because we are approaching the rush hour, but it's not that relevant for us because we're going to be exploring it all on foot. And we don't really need the cars. So you see there something interesting. It looks like a shell or a harp. Actually, it is a harp in a way. This is the so-called harp of David, right? We know that King David, he was a talented one. He most probably, well, we know of the songs of David, right? So he was a poet, he was a musician, he could play harp. We don't know exactly what his harp looked like. So this is the modern vision of how it could look like. Oh, I see. Well, you must have come at a much probably hotter season. We are now kind of in the very, very beginning of autumn. However, a couple of hours it was pretty hot, but now I can feel some, it's not a breeze because there is no actually sea here, but there's definitely some, because we're also in the mountains as well, like we are some sort of 700 meters above the, well, above the sea level. So it's definitely fresher in Jerusalem than in Tel Aviv, even nowadays, that I can tell you. So please behave, everyone, and thank you so much for joining. So remember, we spoke about the Christian hotel, the Three Arches in the YMCA. We spoke about the King David Hotel ran by the Jewish entities. So we forgot about the Muslims. No, we don't forget about the Muslims. No, here we are. So approximately the same time as King David Hotel was being built, the Muslim community decided to build their own luxury hotel. That was the best time for it, because at that time there was so much going on. There was great interest in the Holy Land. It was rediscovered. There was so much investment in the purchase of land, opening of schools, churches, well, a lot of philanthropic activities. And this is when the Palace Hotel was established. The aim was to open it earlier than King David Hotel. They opened approximately at the same time. Let me see if I have, yeah, I have a photo, and you can easily see here that this is the part of the old hotel, old building, right? Okay, it's kind of first, let's say, first quarter of the, well, it was like 1920s when the hotel was open, and this is the modern building attached to it. This is a common practice. You can't really take down an old building, a listed building, but you can build a house next to it, connect the, well, this to the sewage system and everything. And obviously all the works and all the maintenance are your own responsibility. So, but the Waldorf Astoria in 2000 something, I don't remember the exact year, so they reopened, and they're now taking care of the Palace Hotel. And that's what it looked like. I only need to find some shade because I just want to show you the building. Give me a second. So all these hotels are pretty expensive because you are very central, like very central. So yeah, we have the shade here. It's not the best place to show you this photo because we should be standing on the other side of the street. We're going to do that, but this kind of for you to have the idea. So Palace Hotel, you can see the old car, and also another an old kind of transportation, a horse. And here you can clearly see the designs, so very oriental architecture. Let me cross because I want to show you something else. Sure where we're going to do that? Okay, no, we actually can. So what I need to do, I'm going to cross there. This is really crazy days, also because we are approaching Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and a week, actually 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. Right now, I'm also lowering my phone not to film people, especially religious people and children. So please forgive me for that. So sorry, Sharon, I didn't see a comment. Let me go to the chat and. What is it? Oh, it was a donkey. Not sure if it was a donkey or horse. Maybe a donkey. Donkeys were also used, obviously, as a very, I would say, convenient but very slow kind of transport. Okay, yes, this is much better. This is much better. So now I'm at this side, and I'll be able to show you the photo again, so you get to compare how very little actually has changed. So I was talking about the Rosh Hashanah, right? So the Jewish New Year, and 2 weeks prior to that, with Sephardi Jews, right, coming from Spain, Portugal, and also Mizrahi Jews. It's the 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. This year it starts, as you know, Jewish calendar is it's a bit fluid, so the date change from year to year. But today, this year, it's on the 22nd of September. So 2 weeks before that, they start the Slichot festival, and well, Jews come to the old city and they go to the Kotel, to the Western Wall, for the night prayers. Let me just show you the hotel again. Unfortunately, you wouldn't see a donkey or a horse, I don't know. Nevertheless, just pretend you don't see the other buildings behind it, and then voila, it's still the one. It's still that one. Well, the building is huge, opulent, but we are not going there now, because we are going to the cemetery. So many US cities have homeless problems. Well, there are some homeless people, but not as many as let's say, I haven't been to the States, but I saw a lot of, videos, and also a lot of my friends in the States complain to me about it. Obviously we have homeless people, but not that many. There are so many charity organizations that take care of people in need. I don't want to say that in Israel you can't be homeless and you can just be a freeloader. That's not what I'm saying, obviously, but I guess it's just part of culture. So and also religion, right? So given the charity work, Zakah is an important mitzvah, it's a very important commandment. So that's why it's not really such a big deal here. Well, not really such a big problem, sorry. So where are we? We are at the cemetery. And this is actually an ancient cemetery, because we are located outside of the walls of the old city. And this is the ancient Muslim cemetery. It's attributed to Mamila Valley. We will speak about Mamila further on. But here, as you can see, not much life because of the old graves. So most of these graves now date to the Mamluk period, which is, well, let's say starting from the second half of the 13th century and up until 1516, when the Ottomans came. But it's not so easy to date some of the graves because they look quite, I would say, eclectic. But what we can say is that this is clearly a makam, or a kind of a burial vault of someone very important. And this is definitely a Mamluk period. So Mamluks were Muslim warriors coming from the north of Africa, Egypt mainly. And let me tell you who was buried there. This is the tomb of Emir Ala-Din Ayudugi al-Kabuki. He was a Mamluk governor that passed away in 1289. So this is the early Mamluk period. And so, as I said, it's quite complex here because, like everyone, I guess, so I was talking about the freeloaders, right? And that you don't, they're everywhere. So Mamluks, in a way, and everyone in a way, were sort of freeloaders because they didn't want, and maybe they were just being lazy. They didn't want to export, import the construction material. Whenever they conquered the Holy Land, they didn't want to import the construction material. They just took the ones that had been there already, from the churches they had restored, had destroyed before that, or any other buildings. So, and that's exactly what's going on here. Since lately, for this past month, I've been attending so many lectures in Hebrew, and I have no idea why I did that, but actually it has definitely proved the right decision. We call it the shimush hozer, which is the secondary use, and clearly these columns, for example, nice ones, really nice ones, plump ones, good ones. They are from the Crusader period. This arch, this part of the arch, is the Crusader arch. So they must have taken it somewhere from one of the Crusader churches they had destroyed and put it here. And then they put their own very typical Mamluk period arches. We will see some more Mamluk architecture and the Ottoman architecture, and the fusion of, I would say it will be a fusion of Mamluk and Ottoman architecture. So this area, you can see it's rather flat. So this was the valley. You know, Jerusalem was all about mountains and valleys, mountains and valleys. So on the mountains, on elevations, the cities and the living quarters would. And in the valleys, there would be agriculture and also cemeteries. So this, at least for about 1,000 years, this was a cemetery, a Muslim cemetery. Now we are going back a little bit. Sorry for that. There is some walking that we have to do, and unfortunately it's not like the old city where history and important sites are just like one after another. That's a bit different story, but unlike the old city, the connectivity here is way better. I don't want to jinx it though, because I know very well what it might be like, and I will have to do it right. I will have to go to the traffic light, which is okay. We can have some more look at the old graves. Sorry dear, I need to see. No, the bodies are not there anymore. No. So it's the bodies, the graves, they were excavated and placed. Well, there is a certain area where this is done. This is not an active cemetery. Active cemeteries have bodies there and bones, but this is not an active site. This is not that. So, and I was talking about the Mamila Valley. So there is there is a valley, but what's left of Mamila is just a cemetery, which is very often referred to as Mamila Cemetery, but there is a mall. It's called Mamila Mall. And that's the one, that's the building over here, that's the complex. And if you go through this archway all the way through, you will find yourself by the Jaffa Gate. That's exactly what I will be doing for the next tour. And I was talking about the slichot, about these crazy days. So for basically 2 weeks, the old city of Jerusalem does not sleep. Asaldi, thank you so much for your tips. It's very generous. Thank you. It's amazing. Thank you so much. So just a reminder for everyone that your tips are very important to me. And in the top comment, in the pinned comment on the chat, there are links to my website and also to my Buy Me a Coffee and to PayPal. Thank you so much in advance. Thank you. So I'm sorry it's taken a while. That's because they are trying to at least somehow evade the traffic jams, but they can't do anything with the human jams yeah, we can go in the old city, because for 2 weeks there are these midnight prayers, and thousands and thousands of people, they just come to the kotel, to the western wall, and they flood, and so it looks like the streets are just flooded, completely, totally flooded with people, and there's no way for you to try to escape or to turn left or right. You will be just taken by the crowd to the kotel, and you would stay there. You know, kotel doesn't close. It operates 24/7. It doesn't close. And okay, let's do it like that. We need to go around. There's one more place I want to show you, and I hope it's open, but oh, that's the same photo, by the way, here. So Palace Hotel, Waldorf Astoria. So the building was inaugurated in 1929. Let's move on. I won't be seeing the chat for a while because it's really, really sunny. But that's okay. So, and there is one thing. Why do I always say West Jerusalem, West Jerusalem, East Jerusalem? That's quite important. It's not that much relevant nowadays, but back in the early days of the State of Israel, which is 1948, this is the State of Israel was established, the next day after the Declaration of Independence was signed, the War of Independence started, or 1948 war. It depends which narrative you stick to. But for us, war is war anyway, right? War is war. And the Arab League attacked Israel. Israel won the war, but lost Jerusalem. Eastern part of Jerusalem were under the control of Jordanians. So only West Jerusalem was available. Only West Jerusalem was under the control of the State of Israel, and where Jews could live. Jews could no longer, up until 1967, Jews could not visit the Kotel, the Western Wall. They could not access the Jewish quarter, and also even if they could, there wouldn't have been much to see because Jordanians had badly destroyed it. Well, but let's concentrate on something that has survived, and we are in West Jerusalem anyway. So I want to show you this lovely place. The lions are here. You will see a lot of lions. You must have seen already lions on the flags, because lion is the symbol of Jerusalem. These ones have really nice pedicure. Nice. So you must have noticed already the lion on the flag of Jerusalem. There's an interesting place here. It's called Hamifal. It is cute. It is cute. Wait, the cuteness only begins. And let's first of all focus on the architecture, and then on everything else. But for this purpose, I need to step backwards a little bit, and you can't really see the entire building because it is surrounded with other buildings. It is yeah, pedicure for a lion, yeah. But indeed, it looked like a pedicure, like really, proper pedicure. So this building is surrounded with the trees, and there is a garden, so you can't really see the entire. But that's what you get to see. And again, that's the Jerusalem stone, the limestone, and the architecture here is quite curious. This is a very typical architecture of the late 19th century. This building used to belong to a Christian Arab family, and they left after the 1948 war started. And so we know that the family, well, the house was called the Lorenza Seraphin house. So the Seraphin family, I don't know how to remove the ad that's taken up. Oh, I don't know either. Oh, I had no idea they show ads on my tours. I definitely don't get paid for showing ads. I wish. I wish. I'm so sorry, dear. I had no idea they show ads. But yeah, but they must probably be. Well, I don't know. This means that I have at least some sort of, you know, following or audience. Okay, I see, Sandy. I'm so sorry. So, and this house was empty for a long time until in late 2010s. The community of local artists united and took it in their own hands and saved this house and turned it into a lovely, hi, shalom, into a lovely art cluster. There are some art galleries, there are cafes, there is some workspace, stores, and I find it absolutely, especially because of the place, well, not exactly replaced, save it and make it gorgeous. So there are people here working. I don't want to film them, but I will film the ceiling. Look at that. Look at that. So this is, again, typical architecture for the Ottoman period. Hi, doggy. Let's film here. So I'll just come closer. Hello. It's okay. It's okay. The dog got really curious. Look at that. So I hope I am live. I hope you can hear me. I hope everything is working. There is a lovely workshop there, like ceramics and all sorts of things, but it's closed now. But I was here about a couple of weeks ago preparing for this tour. So even though I notified you about this tour like last night, less than 24 hours before the tour, it had been in the working for a long time, as you can see. So I was able to get inside this room, and it was filled with inspiration and artsy vibes. Please let me know on the chat that I'm live and it's all good. I like this interesting thing here. So you can clearly see this place is run by very artsy people. Very artsy people. So I won't be filming. Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much, Sally. Thank you. So there are no people here, so it's all good. Thank you, Satyam, as well. Thank you, everyone. So this looks like really the ideal place for your afternoon coffee. Pixelated at times, but okay. Well, I think we should consider ourselves lucky because in buildings like that, they always have very limited connectivity. Wow, this looks very inviting, right? Some Arabic coffee on this table would be just amazing. Maybe some hookah, but I don't, or nargile, right? But I don't smoke. But the vibe is fine. And this place has also a lovely courtyard. There's some works going on still, but you kind of get the idea. Again, you see this beautiful tile work, the Armenian tiles. We will talk about the Armenian tiles on the other tour. I just want to find an angle where you wouldn't see construction material, but I don't think it is that's possible. But okay, at least somehow, at least something here. So there is still something going on. Obviously, there's a lot of work that has to be done. The garden has been preserved, well, brought back to life, I would say. This looks very cozy. And this place really clearly has this Tel Avivian vibe. You know, Jerusalem and Tel Aviv are very different cities. Jerusalem is the spiritual capital and political capital, but the vibe of a young city, of a startup capital, is definitely here. So the Jerusalem, well, Tel Aviv is called Ir Lelo Hafsaka for a reason, city without a break, city that never stops for a reason. Jerusalem, that's different. Jerusalem is different for sure. It's spiritual. There's not so much going on Shabbat. Well, there's a lot going on in Christian communities and in Arab communities, Muslim communities, and Christian and Arab Christian communities. But with regards to, well, the many museums and institutions, everything is closed. Well, yeah, it's great that the building has been saved and it's been given a second chance. And I think they're doing a great job. It looks very artsy, it looks cozy and welcoming. Let's go around the building to explore a little bit of the garden in front of the house. And that's where we will be putting it on hold till the next tour in 1 hour from now. Well, a little over than 1 hour, but we're not done yet. So we can spy a little bit through the door. So that's sorry, the door is dirty and there's not much really you can see, right? No, it's too blurry, too dirty, too dusty. There's some lovely decorations, a tile work or something that I kind of missed above the doorway. Yeah, it's kind of also tile work. Looks cute. So some modern art gallery on the top floor. The arches have been preserved. The vaulted ceiling has been preserved. Well, you're clearly in some artsy place. This looks quite ominous. Oh wow. Okay. So I don't want to film people, but I want to film a little bit of the building. Oh, there's nobody there in this. There's a ship, also made by the community. Yeah, that robot is crazy, absolutely. So that's the building. It doesn't really fit the frame. I can't show you the entire building because there's no way to just step backwards and fit it so it would fit the frame. But I guess you gotta have the idea. And this teeny tiny building surrounded with these big hotels. Look, there is a big hotel there. Oh, that's a residential building. That's not a hotel, but this is a very expensive residential building. And this is a Waldorf Astoria hotel. And this is just a true gem, still around, brought back to life. I find it absolutely cute. And I'm pretty sure this is the fountain that was there from the very beginning when the family lived here. The Seraphine family. There you go. Well, now it's not a fountain. I'm not sure what's going on there. Probably nothing. Okay, my dears. I guess it's time to wrap this up. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you have enjoyed this walk. Quite eclectic. I try to focus on the good, but yeah, sometimes we have to speak about the reality that is not always so lovely. But you can always find some true beauty and meaning. You know, I could use some selfie here. Please. And actually, what I always do now, I don't know why I didn't, I should have started doing it earlier. I can take a selfie like this. And also like this. Thank you so much, everyone. So let me remind you that in 1 hour from now, we're catching up for another tour, and this time we are going to the old city of Jerusalem, which is really like 5 minutes away from here. Okay, 10 minutes away from here, because I'm not going to be running. I'm going to be walking and probably have a cup of coffee, cold coffee, cafe car, cold coffee, because it's still a little bit hot, but not that kind of hot, so you get sunstroke. No, God forbid. And I would like to remind you that on my website, anriaguy.com, you can find some more tours already scheduled, and I will be sharing very soon on the next tour. I will be sharing the news. So interesting tours will be scheduled for the weekend. Sorry. Some tours for next weekend are already there, so some more will be scheduled shortly, and I will be also sending the newsletter. Yeah, and links for PayPal and to buy me a coffee. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your interest in what I show, and I will see you in 1 hour from now, a little bit rested and nourished. Renee, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. I will see you soon. And for those who joined us a little later, you can just basically wind it up to the very beginning, wind it back to the beginning, and watch the tour. Thank you so much. And by the way, the recordings as of last weekend, which was like a day ago, right, are already there. It took me some time, but I religiously shared all the tour recordings. You can find the links on my website easily. They will take it to my YouTube and everywhere. Thank you and bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. The lions. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you. And by the way, so a shout out to my sponsors. Those of you who are my sponsors, you know. And if you want to catch up with the recording of the get together I did on Friday, it's available on our secret playlist. And if you have issue accessing it, or is simply not getting emails for the sponsors newsletter, please reach out to me. And I will try to sort it out. Sorry, it's still a learning curve to me. Bye bye, everyone. See you soon.